In a cramped kitchen, Iso Rosales cooks. Chicken and pork, rice and beans, potatoes and carrots. 50 pounds of it. Rosales lives in El Cajon. She began bringing hot meals to Shelltown weeks after the January flood devastated the neighborhood just north of National City. Like many in the county, she was removed from the impacts of the flood.
I knew it had rained, but I didn't know the damage because I don't like to watch the news.
But she started to see images of the destruction on Facebook. She's a single mother of 3. She cooks for multiple small businesses she runs, but she felt compelled to help.
And I just started to pray, like, how can I be used?
Her first trip to Shelltown brought new reality to the images.
I cried as soon as I got there because I couldn't understand the devastation in the streets.
Rosales couldn't fix everything she was seeing, but for her, a hot meal is family.
I try to celebrate with people even in the darkest times. Food does that for us.
Many Shelltown residents still don't have working kitchens, no stoves or sinks. They improvise with portable cooktops and microwaves.
For them who have gone through a traumatic experience like that, and every other aspect of their life is in limbo, but they don't have a hot meal at home. They can't prepare a hot meal to sit at the table with their family.
Rosales began working with a community organization, Herencia Hispana, to cook hot meals for the neighbors. She got to know Beba Zarate, who hosts the meal distribution. Now, she drives to Zarate's house and sets the table for Shelltown neighbors. They gather like family. The disaster feels more recent than 3 months ago. Sandbags still pile on the sidewalk. A large dumpster sits in the street. To show how high it flooded on January 22nd, Zarate points several feet up her wall.
It is like a horrible movie. Everything was like dark. It was mud all over. It was all the trash. Even it was dead animals there. It was like a nightmare in the middle of the morning.
Her house is mostly empty of personal belongings, all lost to the flood. But donations for distribution to flood survivors are piled to the carport ceiling. President Joe Biden declared a major disaster a month after the flood. There are 2 days left to apply for FEMA assistance, up to $42,500 per household for housing assistance, repairs, and property loss. But there are citizenship and immigration requirements. And though FEMA has helpline operators, Zarate says it can be hard for some of her neighbors to navigate the process. Zarate has lived in her house for 25 years. The street it's on connects to a freeway and an elementary school. She says it used to be filled with traffic and children. Now,
this is like an empty street, like a ghost street.
Many families lost their homes entirely. The county moved them into hotels.
It is like really scary not having those smiles here around in the neighborhood.
The news cycle has largely moved on, but it's not so easy for the residents.
It's a long recovery process. In the first month, it was like cover the basic needs. But now, this is the reality. You have to face the reality that do not have anything that you used to have to live, to survive. Now we are struggling with ourselves, but also with our mental health.
The water has dried, but she says it left behind PTSD. She explains how it feels.
It is like the emotions are numb. It is like when you have anesthesia and you are barely waking up, this is how we are feeling. We are like colorblind. You can see the color, but we cannot see the colors. We are trying to, but it's really hard.
But Zarate says she also noticed her neighborhood change for good.
The beautiful thing of this is that we become like a family. We holding hands and say, we are together in this. And it is so much loving to see a survivor that is cooking in the backyard for the whole community. Or say, you know what, this is what I have. I share with you and I share with the whole community.
She says the tragedy upended their daily routines, but she sees a gift in that too.
The life twist, it goes like 365 degrees different from time before. But now we value more life. We value more the sense of how to be alive. It is a gift to be alive.
Witnessing those lives is the gift volunteer Isa Rosales says she brings to Zarate and her neighbors.
You know, she said, I don't want nobody to forget about us. And I said, don't worry, we won't forget about you.
Zarate is just one of more than 1,000 flood victims still figuring out how to survive. Katie Hyson, KPBS News.